Welcome to SVG-TV News and Sports for Tuesday, March 24, 2015. I'm Renee Batiste with the details. The draft tsunami warning protocols for St. Vincent and the Grenadines are being looked at during a two-day workshop which commenced here earlier today. The protocols illustrate the process by which information concerning a tsunami event is gathered, analyzed and disseminated, and how the vulnerable communities are notified and alerted. Addressing participants at the opening of the workshop, Director of the National Emergency Management Organization NEMO, Mr. Howie Prince, says that they are seeking to intensify the efforts to get SVG prepared to face a tsunami event, which he says can leave a trail of destruction behind.
During the next 2 days, we will exercise and evaluate tsunami warning system. We will look at the exposure, our level of exposure, and we will validate the readiness to respond to a local or distant tsunami. What do I mean by that? Tsunamis can be generated near us by whatever disturbance there is at the ocean floor, right near us in the Caribbean waters, in which case we don't have much time to respond. There would not be time to give out information to ask people to evacuate. But there may be also tele-tsunamis, or those that are generated from a distance away in the Atlantic Ocean, where we will be given some time to be able to disseminate information to people, which would allow them to respond and to evacuate if that's necessary.
Prince says there are 4 elements in preparation for getting SVG ready by having in place what they call an end-to-end tsunami warning system.
So we rely heavily on that science to generate information that can reach to us. We don't ourselves generate that information. And that is an important part of the puzzle. In other words, if NEMO is not given the information that a tsunami has been generated, then we are not in a position to give anybody that information. And since we do not have the science at our disposal to do that, then we have to be able to set up lines of communication with the institution where those works are carried out so that the information can get to us. The second very important aspect of what we do is to conduct hazard assessments, to do modeling on what is likely to happen, what if. Where on a particular coastline may a tsunami reach? It's called inundation. Where is it likely to reach? How high, how far in? We want to be able to therefore understand what it means to model and understand our level of risk.
He says dissemination of information is another of the elements they have to pay close attention to as they develop an effective tsunami warning system for this country.
So can you imagine that at 2 o'clock in the morning there is a very large earthquake and we are given 6 hours to tell everyone along our coastline to evacuate at 2 o'clock in the morning. In the case of a hurricane, we have time. It gives us that time to evoke our emergency broadcast protocol, to get our radio stations up and running, and to tell them this is the information that the people need. At 2 o'clock in the morning, we have no such luxury because all our radio stations are gone into automation. Nobody's at the station. And therefore, it begs the question, how do we alert people? You will spend some time looking at that. You will see what we have written. You will advise us whether it makes sense. And where it doesn't make sense, you will advise us on what are other methods that we may use to alert our population should there be something happening that they need to know at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, so that by daybreak, when the waves hit, most or everybody would be at a safe place away from where their lives would be threatened.
Meanwhile, Deputy Director of NEMO, Michelle Forbes, says they're hoping to have the tsunami protocols for St. Vincent and the Grenadines ready by the end of April. She says tomorrow the participants at the workshop will be involved in the Caribbean Tsunami warning exercise which will test the protocols already in place. Forbes says it is her hope that in the next Caribbean tsunami warning exercise, more persons from the private sector will get involved, as well as the schools and health facilities. According to Forbes, while NEMA will have broad protocols in place, every other entity will need to know how they will be able to pass on the information to others in the event of a tsunami.
And one sector looks tourism. I know we have representatives here from tourism. How are you going to get it down to all of your partners? So while we are here today at the national level, you yourselves have to determine how are you going to get those protocols and that information and warning to your own individual partners. And to the police, how are you going to control the traffic in Kingstown? A simple thing. If you have a 2-3 hours information before a tsunami hits, you have to be able to control it. But at the same time, in the end, you have to save yourself at some point. So these are some of the issues that we will be dealing with over the next 2 days. And I really want us to think outside of the box, not what is in the document alone, but be practical. How are we going to really disseminate this information?
Forbes says that NEMA will soon launch an emergency warning system for St. Vincent and the Grenadines as they continue to get the nation prepared for any eventuality.
And this will allow us to be able to reach more persons in disseminating warnings or information. So when you leave here by tomorrow, we should have the names of persons, emails, etc., that we can actually feed into that system. The system will allow us to send blast emails to all the key persons for various hazards or for all hazards. And later on, we'll be able to have an app with it and also an SMS alert over the next few years. We're doing it in phases. So we want to be able to actually activate any protocols to disseminate information through that system. So I know we'll be talking more with some of the key agencies on that, because certain persons will have privileges, will be able to access the system, which is wireless, which is internet based, and be able to disseminate information to the general public. But only few persons will have that authority to do so.
The opposition leader says for productivity to be improved in this country, the needs of women must first be addressed. In this report by Sharon Gary, we take a closer look at the opposition leader's planned strategy to deal with women's issues as outlined in a panel discussion hosted by the New Democratic Party yesterday.
At the consultation held yesterday at the NDP's headquarters, opposition leader Arnhem Eustace said women and their issues take high priority in the development of this country. Eustace pointed out that women are continually taking leading roles in areas such as education, the church, and even political mobilization. He said their contribution should not be ignored. The NDP leader said his party is totally committed to the change for women in this country. Eustace said when they are productive and happy, this also reflects in the nation's performance.
Active participants in the development of Vincent society, the vast majority of church congregants and attendees at political meetings are women. Girls outperform boys in primary and secondary school, and women outnumber men on the university rolls. Formerly male-dominated fields such as accounting and law are now decidedly female, while women have begun to make strides in non-traditional fields such as the clergy and engineering. Also, women continue to be very present in farming and business.
In revealing statistics from the United Nations per 100,000 capita, in which this country was deemed the highest for rape in the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States from 2000 to 2010, with a total of 802 reported cases, and averaged second in 102 countries from around the world from 2004 to 2011, Eustace described the rating as a disgrace.
So you see, for that period of 8 years, we are among the worst, and sometimes the worst in the world in relation to these kind of things. This little country of ours, We are a disgrace. That we exist in a society where this has become the norm is a disgrace and cannot be tolerated. When I started looking at these figures, I just could not believe that is this Haroon, land of the blessed.
In his 10-point plan, he outlined that under the NDP administration, the restructuring of the police force, the mandatory reporting of all cases of rape, and a code of conduct for sexual harassment in the workplace are among some of the things which will be implemented.
We recommended the institution and enforcing of a code of conduct within the public service at all levels that provide a protocol on reporting sexual offenses, including sexual harassment in the workplace. A lot of that, plenty of that going on here. Revising and broadening the police training manual to include the training for all police recruits in domestic violence and also in human trafficking.
Commending the NDP on its initiative to address the needs of women at the consultation were sociologist and panelist Kathleen Patricia Robinson-Comujong. She also emphasized the need for an attitudinal transformation.
So when you hear people telling you that a woman should not do this because it's not womanly, stop and realize that this is just a construct we have, something we've accepted, and try and work with the people that you come up against.
This consultation today has brought out issues that are startling and even frightening for women and girls in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But the NDP, realizing that elections may be around the corner, may have just started a push button for the women in this country, knowing that women are the majority of the voters in this country. Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Sharon Gowrie.
The Unity Labour Party's candidate for the Central Youth constituency has described as simply mischievous the unauthorized recording of his statements about the current Air Representative Maxwell Charles. Speaking at the media conference yesterday, Sir Louis Straker says nowhere in the recording did he criticize his colleague's ability or substance as a representative, but criticized his style. Straker argues that no one is the same and everyone does things differently.
I am not nearly as aggressive as a certain member of the opposition. I won't go that far to be as aggressive. But I have to have a certain level of assertiveness because I realize I'm in politics. And notwithstanding the fact that I'm, like Maxwell, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, I know when you're in politics, it is not like being in the church and being meek and mild, because sometimes you never get anything done if you're too meek and mild. You have to know how to assert yourself. And this is not any great criticism of Maxwell. If that was all that Hillary Clinton had to say of Obama, then there would have been no problem. If this is all the members of Parliament of the Labour Party had to say about Miliband, there's no problem. I made sure I indicated in that tape that I had some admiration for Maxwell because he is a fine gentleman. Fine gentleman. He is a man that you can respect. He is a man that you can trust. And therefore, you must give it balance. I didn't say anything derogatory. I didn't berate Maxwell. I didn't say anything demeaning of Maxwell.
Straker says the incident is being blown out of proportion by some members of the media and members of the opposition in a quest to gain political mileage.
Media and the opposition party would try their best. As a matter of fact, he has received several calls from them, trying to pretend that they're sympathizing with him and trying to see how they can stoke the fire, to see whether they can get him, to use him as a wedge, to divide the constituency and the party. But Maxwell has far more sense than that. He knows that what this party has done for this country, what we have done for Central Leeward, he and I, there are certain projects that I started and he has carried to the end, and he would not swallow their bait. So this is just mischief being carried on by certain people, and they're not going to succeed. because I know I'll have the support of Maxwell and Dunstan. And if it is necessary and I call on them to go forward with me, they would be there in the constituency campaigning with me.
Some 100 cattle are expected to be artificially inseminated by the end of this year. This through the Ministry of Agriculture Livestock Development through Artificial Insemination and Breeding Program. Cuban reproductive specialist Dr. Barnell is currently in the state working with the ministry's veterinary department and cattle farmers across the island on the insemination program. To date, Dr. Barnell and veterinary officer Dr. Colleen Phillips have conducted general assessments on cattle production in St. Vincent and the Grenadines through visits to several cattle farmers, including the Rabaca Livestock Station. According to Dr. Phillips, the Ministry of Agriculture is steadfast in its plan in taking the livestock industry in the country to a new level. She says following the exportation of cattle to Grenada over the last couple of years, the ministry realized its need to replenish the present stock. She added that 3 new breeds of cattle will be introduced here soon to serve the dual purpose of meat and milk production. Minister of Agriculture Soboto Caesar congratulated the team for assisting farmers in raising the bar in livestock production. He outlined that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is being recognized across the region as the largest regional exporter of cattle. Tessa Rouse of Kingston Park is the 3rd winner of the Lime SVGBC 35th Anniversary Trivia. Rouse was handed a brand new 4G tablet by SVGBC Sales and Marketing Officer Keisha Belingi today. The customs broker and mother of 2 said she was told about the giveaway by her 6-year-old daughter, who listened to the question during the news segment. Rouse also revealed that her young daughter also surprisingly knew the correct answer. She expressed gratitude to Lime and SVG Broadcasting for her new gadget.
When I was listening news, my daughter told me that they just answer question to win a tablet. So she called me and told me she know the answer and I must text it. So she gave me the answer and I text it, and that is how we are the winners today.
So you think it's really your daughter's tablet but not yours?
Well, we'll have to share it.
And so what exactly were you doing? You said you were what?
When I got the call?
Yes.
I was just about to start to work. I just got into the office, sit down, I saw the missed call. So I answered and I was all excited and everything and stuff like that. Just the thought of winning something was exciting. I want to thank SVG Broadcasting and wish them happy anniversary, and also to Lime.
2015 Carnival poster and view cards launched here today. More stories on the local scene when SVG-TV News continues. The 2015 Carnival poster and view cards were today launched at the Carnival Development Corporation's conference room in Kingstown. Speaking at the first media conference to be hosted by the CDC for Vinci Mas 2015, Chairman of the CDC, Dennis Ambrose, says the view cards were designed by Vincent and Sean Young, with photography done by Oris Robinson, showcasing various aspects of Vinci Mas 2014.
2 hallmark promotional items have proven to be among our top marketing tools, and they have held their footing in the marketing arena. They continue to portray astonishingly attractive aspects of Vinci Mas and catches the eye of the overseas public that many persons cannot resist the temptation to come to Vinci Mas. I know of persons who have already made their bookings to be here in St. Vincent for this grand national festival. A selection of 5 brilliant view cards, each displaying a different aspect of Vinci Mas. These and the poster will be available at our usual advertising outlets at home and abroad.
The CDC chairman also explains that the selected poster was designed by Vincentian Shannon Duran Samuel and is in honor of the 30th anniversary of Miss Carnival pageant and the 50th anniversary of the Queen of the Band competition. That will be also celebrated this year.
As you may have noticed, it depicts the 2 vibrant, colorful costume ladies, Miss Carnival and Queen of the Band, commemorating the great achievement of these two competitors in their categories. This poster is very outstanding, as you see. And the CDC is pleased to launch this fabulous work of art at this press conference. We believe that this is a picture which speaks 1,000 words. For this year, 2015, we are hoping to take some of the events of Vincy Mars via pay-per-view to other Caribbean countries. We have already commenced discussion with our cable provider to have this materialize. This will be a tremendous boost to the marketing of Vincy Mars to our regional neighbors. We know that we have a great product which is highly saleable and it will be well received far and wide.
Meanwhile, chairperson of the CDC Beauty Shows Committee, Cheryl Rodriguez, she says that plans are progressing smoothly for the first show on the calendar of events for Vincy Mars 2015, the Miss SVG pageant. This will take place on May 30th. The competition will be held under the theme, A Combination of Passion and Brilliance, and will see 8 young ladies vying for the coveted title.
Next 2 months and 7 days of preparation will become more intense. As training sessions continue, contestants prepare their own presentations for introductory wear, that one is not judged, swimwear 25 points, talent 20 points, evening wear 25 points, and interview 30 points. They will also be involved in some exciting activities designed to introduce them to members of the public and their fans across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and engage in official visits.
All 8 contestants also used the opportunity to share a bit of whom they are with the public.
My name is Precious Abraham and I'm 19 years of age. I'm currently living in New Montrose. I enjoy going to the beach and meeting new people. There's much more than excitement and enthusiasm for such a journey as Miss SVG. It's your ambition and determination that allows you to put as much heart into this. You must have exceptional talent and the ability to stand out, because brilliance does not necessarily mean intelligence.
I am 21-year-old Milicia Antwine. I reside in the fishing community of Clare Valley. I'm a proud graduate of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, Division of Technical and Vocational Education. Many may ask, besides the scholarship, why or what motivated you to enter Miss SVG? For me, winning Miss South Leeward 2015 gave me that drive to enter Miss SVG.
I am 20-year-old Vicky Charles, residing in the beautiful farming community of Spring Village. I am a proud graduate of the Chumuka Ontario Secondary School and the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies. I am currently employed at the Carlos James Law Chambers as a legal clerk. Blossoming from the farming community of Vermont, I am 20-year-old Chantal Dels, a recent graduate of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies, and also a strong, determined and ambitious young lady who believes in the philosophy of the late Maya Angelou. And I quote, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated."
Bringing you greetings from the tiny rural community of Victoria Village, neighbor to Mango Central Stubbs, I am 19-year-old Deontay Mears. I am a proud graduate of the St. Vincent Girls High School and a recent graduate of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, the Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies. Quirky, different, special, these are all words that can be used to describe me.
I am 19-year-old Disha Murray and I am from Fixfields Village. I'm a past student of the St. Vincent's Girls High School and a recent graduate of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, the Division of Arts, Sciences and the General Studies. When I thought about training for Miss SVG, I only thought about getting out there and enjoying the activities. Maybe if I had known that I had to run around the to a park I would have never been. I am 22-year-old Miss Donna Nelson. From the agricultural community of Green Hill, I bring you greetings. Cooking, traveling, and listening to music are some of the things I enjoy. As this show progresses, you will have reasons to remember contestant number 7, Miss Donna Nelson.
I am 21-year-old Anika Robinson, resided in the quiet community of Lodge Village. Currently, I am employed with telecommunications company Lime as a customer service agent. Since I started training for Miss SVG 2015, I have not only made friends with my fellow contestants.
Vinci Mass. There needs to be a greater focus on vocational training for youths at a national level. That is according to lawyer and the ULP candidate for North Leeward, Carlos James. While he was addressing the graduation ceremony of close to 20 youths from the North Leeward who completed a 6 weeks intense Microsoft Unlimited Potential Certification course at the National Center of Technology and Innovation, the SVG-NCTI. This was held in Kingstown. According to James, while there have been successes across all levels in providing universal access to primary and secondary education, there needs to be a greater focus on technical and vocational training for marginalized youths. James noted that technological and vocational training is important in providing opportunities for marginalized youths who are not normally captured in the education dragnet. According to James, programs such as those offered at the SVG-NCTI in Information Communication Technology, ICT, this is important in bridging the digital divide. He noted that there has been a national drive in ICT, but more focus should be given to the rural areas in bridging the digital divide. Now, the children of the Calico Anglican School are more informed about the lives of two Vincentian stalwarts, thanks to an initiative by the Department of Culture today. The youngsters were taught through a slideshow about the country's first Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Robert Milton Cato, and the right of the national anthem, Phyllis Ponette. This was done by Cultural Officer Anthony Thibbles and Gloria Williams, who is also of the Department of Culture. The students were taught how Ponette was inspired by the lush greenery of the Bocamet Valley to write the lyrics of the national anthem, and how Milton Cato became the first leader of this nation on gaining independence in 1979.
She loved music and poetry and English language. We're beginning to see how she came to write the anthem. She loved music. What else did she love? And English language. So she was able to put the words together in a nice package with a musical rhythm that was further expanded and with her use of language. So she got her inspiration for the anthem from the area where she was living in Bocamet, right? And she combined what she was seeing, where she was living, with her knowledge of music, the rhythm and the rhyme, the poetry and the language. And then, like we saw before, 10 years later, he then led the country into independence on the 27th of October, 1979, and became the first Prime Minister of the country.
The students then laid wreaths at the gravesite of the two iconic Vincentians, where Senator Luke Brown spoke.
Outstanding political leader died. I was in your shoes. And I was also a member of the Cub Scout movement. And I was able to lay a wreath died at the funeral service. And now you're going to go on the same page as a group in their wreath. And I want you all to remember all that you learned about it. Remember that he was a great leader. He should be a role model for many of you.
Good evening, I'm Chester Collin with the SVG-TV Evening Sports. KPS retained their title in the Inter Primary Athletics Championship, which was held today at the Arnesville playing field. They claimed both the males and females division. In the females, they were first with 161 points. In second place was Fitzhughes, who registered 93 points. The third and fourth spots were claimed by Leyu and Buckerman Government with 91 and 75 points respectively. In the male category, Kingstown Prairie came out on top with 152 points. Leyu took second with 143 points, as Lowman's Leeward Anglican was third with 128, and C.W. Prescott fourth on 100 points. Kingstown Prep achieved their championship crown as they grabbed 313 points. Leyu Government had to settle for second with 234 points. Lowman's Anglican occupied the third spot with 188 points, and Buckerman Government clinched fourth with 142 points. The 11-plus gold was taken by Yolanda Lewis of Buckerman Government, who was also the victress Lodorum with 32 points, with Leyu Government's Traik Boucher, the 11-plus male and Victor Lodorum champs. Tomorrow is the turn for the athletes at the secondary level. In SVG Rugby, St. Vincent and the Grenadines are now leading the table in the NACRA Rugby South Zone Cup League after dispatching of St. Lucia 16-8 on Saturday. The Vincy lads started off in superb fashion as they led 10-0 from a pair of tries courtesy outside centre Anzio Lewis. Penalties were then converted by scrum half George Kruger in the 40th minute. Second row Kimran Barnum then compounded St. Lucia to defeat in the 80th minute. St. Lucia troubled the scores late in the 67th minute through fly half Corvus Samuels, and then in the 74th minute through Javan Lucas. SVG has so far recorded one win and a draw and have secured 4 points, whereas St. Lucia are yet to get off the mark as they sit in the cellar spot. St. Vincent will be in action once more on the 18th of April 2015 at the Arnesville Sporting Complex against the BVI. In the Olympics, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Olympic Committee has officially launched their new volleyball program geared towards the development of a national sports structure within the volleyball fraternity. The launch took place yesterday at a press conference where it was outlined that the program would be conducted for 4 months by Sean McKay of the International Volleyball Federation. Speaking at the press launch, volleyball expert Sean McKay gave a brief synopsis of what his 4-month program would entail, while highlighting that SVG has great athletes in volley who only need their potential to be guided and developed.
Most importantly is to work with the association, with the NOC, in collaboration to form a lasting program that can carry on when I'm done in my 4 months term here. I plan on reaching out to many communities to try and build the base of the sport of volleyball and educate coaches to try and bring that base into a higher peak, forcing more athletes up to the elite level. I mean, for beach volleyball, I had first-hand experience watching the qualifiers for the national beach team and the pair that was referred to earlier, and very promising athletes, very raw athletes, which I look forward to working with as much as possible to try and harness some of the potential, not only with those 2 athletes, but the rest of the country.
Don't go away, the evening sports will continue after these messages. Grant Elliott came to the fore to lead New Zealand to their first ever World Cup finals as he hammered Dale Steyn for a 6 off the penultimate ball of the innings to hand his side a 4-wicket victory over South Africa. The loss condemned South Africa to their 4th unsuccessful World Cup semi-final progress as the Proteas had batted first and were cruising at 216 for 3 after 38 overs before rain interrupted play. When play resumed, the match was reduced to 43 overs and saw South Africa losing Faf du Plessis for 82 as Ab de Villiers made 65 not out and David Miller clubbed an 18-ball 49 to see his side finish on 281 for 5. Corey Anderson picked up 3 for 72 and Trent Bolt 2 for 53. New Zealand were then set 298 to win, or 43 overs, via the Duckworth-Lewis calculations. Skipper Brendan McCullum got his team off to a rapid start as he struck 59 from 26 balls with 8 fours and 4 sixes, having hit Dale Steyn for 24 runs in a single over. A 103-run partnership between Corey Anderson, who made 58, and Grant Elliott, who smashed 84 not out, led the Kiwis to victory as they responded with 299 for 6 in 42.5 overs. Mohan Mokel took 3 for 59 in a losing effort for South Africa. Australia and India will lock horns in a semi-final on Wednesday night for a spot in Saturday's final against New Zealand.